This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and join with me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today?
A little under the weather.
Oh, what's wrong?
You not hearing my throat?
No.
Oh, it sounds like it's in my throat.
No, you sound perfectly fine to me. But I'm sorry to hear that you're not feeling well.
Sure.
You'll get through it.
I will.
You'll commit and you won't take a day off.
Well, we'll see about that.
If you're new here, welcome. If you're a return listener, then also welcome. We have new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend. So make sure that you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice to never miss an episode. Every week we do a trailer of the week, and that is Brian's job. Brian, have you done your job this week? Have you got a trailer of the week for us?
I do have a trailer for the week, David.
You've loads to choose from.
Well, I'm only choosing one.
Okay.
And I think I had to choose the most relevant one. Mm-hmm. The Running Man.
The Running Man. You had a choice. I actually was surprised when watching Jurassic World that a trailer come on. I was like, holy shit. And then my sister was like, what is it? And I was like, shut up. It was The Odyssey. And I was like, oh, did you not get The Odyssey trailer?
You got it.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. I'm going to do a trailer the week after you.
I didn't get it.
Let's talk about The Running Man. The Running Man. Yeah, great. I love seeing Glenn Powell. I think he's a real good star on the rise. I'm excited that he's like a leading man franchise holder now.
And what do you make the fact that it's Edgar Wright doing an adaptation of a Stephen King novel that already had an adaptation in the 80s?
I am excited. I hope that Edgar Wright puts his own classic flair on it. I think that his last film, Last Night in Soho, it didn't feel very Edgar Wright-y. I enjoyed it, but it's one that I remember being really excited for, but it hasn't left a lasting impression on me. Like, I haven't thought, I need to go back and rewatch that or anything, It just felt very standard.
Yeah, The Running Man does look fun, though.
It does. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like Glenn Powell he's got the action chops and the comedy chops that are needed for the role. I'm excited to go back and rewatch the original one with Schwarzenegger.
Did you see it before?
No. Did I say rewatch? I just meant watch. Sorry. But I'm excited to go back. I don't know if you saw, there's a little Easter egg that I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is the president in this world, this new version of The Running Man, and he's on the dollar bills. Like, it's his face.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I saw someone, I think, maybe put it on Reddit or something like that.
It looks like a good cast. Josh Brolin and Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, they look like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo looks like that eccentric host that,
Samuel Jackson maybe was trying to be, but nowhere near in that RoboCop remake.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I felt like it was a bit more like a Hunger Games.
Yeah, he did feel Hunger Games-esque, didn't he?
Yeah, a bit like Caesar Flickerman was like, I'm playing to the audience here. It felt like a bit of a Black Mirror episode kind of thing.
This does feel Black Mirror-esque. We've had a few of those in the past while, haven't we?
Yeah, but I think that maybe stuff we can easily put down to being Black Mirror-esque when it's just kind of a dystopian sci-fi, because that's kind of what Black Mirror has become. So it's very easy to put that in the box when, The Running Man came first.
There's another character in the trailer. He's all cloaked up, sunglasses, he's kitted out in all this military gear, he's holding rocket launchers, and he kicks the grenade at Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
You don't know who that actor is?
I don't, and I don't want to know.
Okay.
I like secrets.
Yeah.
I like being surprised. I saw William H. Macy, and he's
great. In it as well.
I quite like William H. Macy. So
yeah, I like that shot as well where he runs through the hallway and it's just that long tracking shot, and it's like what the title says, he's running, a running man, and you better run, and you just see the ricochets of the bullets hitting, just missing them by a few inches.
With what Edgar Wright did with Baby Driver.
Yeah.
With the chase sequences and that. I hope he brings a lot of that to Running Man.
Yeah, you're right. And I like the look of it as well. I like the dystopian...
The grimy, dirty looking of the world.
Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I got to see The Odyssey. Wow.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Very excited. Tell us, what did you see?
So, the trailer, it's very, very limited. It's a lot of dialogue. No, it's not even a lot of dialogue. It's maybe a minute long. It's dialogue between Tom Holland and John Bernthal. And at first, I didn't realize it was Tom Holland. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. And it's them talking about Odysseus and talking about, there's so many stories about him. Like, oh, he's a rich man, he's a poor man, he's a free man, he's held prisoner. And then one of them's like, what kind of a prison could hold a man like Odysseus? And it's just like a shot, and it constantly kind of cuts back and forth between the two guys and the ocean, and just Odysseus floating on a barge out there, and you don't even really see Matt Damon's face or anything like that. It's just like a little bit of dialogue, a few flashes of certain things. You get like a shot of a couple of horses riding on the beach, and it just feels like, oh, we've been transported back. I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to it. And you know what? If I don't see anything else, this perfectly will satisfy my hunger for the Odyssey for the next year.
How does Tom Holland and John Bernthal come across in this type of movie with this setting, with Christopher Nolan directing?
Well, it's just a small dialogue scene in what appears to be like, maybe like they're sitting down to a meal. So just inside a house. Tom Holland looks like, well, he doesn't look like Spider-Man or anything like that. Like, I know he gets a lot of criticism that that's all he can play, you know, because over the last couple of years he hasn't really had any breakout roles beyond that. But John Bernthal, bald John Bernthal with a beard, it's they look good and they look fitting to the time. I feel like, okay, there's a reason why Nolan cast these two.
Is Odysseus on his own, or is he with his company, his
in
army?
this trailer? By himself.
Right.
We'll probably get it next week. I thought that it was going to happen, that we were getting this trailer with Superman.
I think we're getting Avatar with not Superman, with Fantastic Four.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
that probably makes sense. That's very soon as well. End of July. We're in it now. In the thick of it.
In the thick of it. Enough about trailers. We're not here.
We're not here to talk about the Odyssey or the Running Man. We're instead here to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth.
What do you think?
Well, I'm on the record. I think I am anyway. I'm on the record.
You
saying
are.
I wasn't looking forward to this. I thought the last two Jurassic World movies were not good. I didn't enjoy them. And I remember when this film got announced, and you were really excited. It's like, oh, it's another Jurassic World movie. And I was like, I
wasn't.
You were excited.
I was
for it,
excited, but I wasn't like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I wasn't that excited. No.
But you were excited for it, and I thought, I don't care.
Yeah.
And you were like, Gareth Edwards is doing it. It's like, great. I really like Gareth Edwards. I really like the creator. I like Rogue One. I like Godzilla. But it's just too soon. It's like, oh, they're rebooting it. They're revitalizing it again. It's like, yeah, but we had Jurassic World Dominion like 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I was like,
we had the revival of the Jurassic Park franchise 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was like, can we let the dinosaurs rest for a bit? I felt as though there's no excitement for Jurassic World movies anymore, and you need to let the dinosaurs rest, let them kind of fade out of public consciousness, and then bring them back. Like, what was the distance between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World?
Jurassic Park 3, was that 1990 or early 2000, 2005 maybe?
No, it wasn't nearly as late as 2005. Sure, the first Jurassic Park movie was 1994. So I know that Jurassic World was 2015. So Jurassic Park 3, if I look it up on my handy dandy letterboxd, was 2001. So you're putting 14 years between the last Jurassic Park movie and then the first Jurassic World movie. That's enough time that, like, Jurassic Park 3 isn't very widely renowned or anything like that, but you let the film let it rest for a bit. Come back to the franchise, let it be revitalized. Let's look at another example of that. Final Destination. That franchise was waning a bit. That was going down, decreasing in quality. And then this year, we got a reboot of it, like 14 years after the last one.
Reboot? Legacy sequel?
Yeah, Legacy. Yeah, no, we're not rebooting it. Sorry, yeah, my mistake. Of coming back to the franchise. Revitalization of the franchise, I suppose. So I felt as though that was needed for Jurassic World Rebirth. And I felt like I was in the minority of this, and then the movies come out, and it seems like that's the case. That seems to be the public consensus now, is that this isn't a very good movie, and it needs to be put to rest. Now, to answer your actual question, which was, what did I think? I was fine with it. I thought it was okay. But you have to remember the context of that is that I came from, I don't care, I don't want this movie, I think that this movie shouldn't be made for another couple of years. Let the franchise rest for a bit, then come back. So I was a bit like, whatever. So while watching it, I was like, this is fine. You know, it's not the worst Jurassic World movie, but it's not the best. You?
I agree.
Yeah. And that's just the public opinion now at the moment, is that it's just, yeah. It's I think us even saying, yeah, it's fine, is probably an overwhelmingly positive review as to what this film is getting.
I think now what will happen is what you were saying.
Yeah.
I think now, after the release of this movie, it's more likely that they won't do any more Jurassic movies until later down the line.
Yeah.
And I think this is taking a hit in the box office than what they thought, and when the suits see that they're not making money that they once were, then they'll stop.
Yeah.
Look how quickly they stopped with Michael Bay Transformers movies after the fifth one. Like, they got a fresh young director to do a spin-off that had its own continuity, and then they derailed themselves and went back to the sort of
They've
formula.
gone back again.
Yeah, so I thought that Jurassic World Rebirth, which I guess I always thought the title Rebirth was as irrelevant as any other title, like Generations or
it's just
A New Beginning, or like Rebirth. Like,
it's just to differentiate them. Like, realistically, like they might as well just be Jurassic Park 7.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so that you don't go, oh, I have to watch 7 of these. It's just, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Rebirth. It's like, okay, differentiate them at all. What do these things mean? Nothing really.
Yeah, I like it when something like The Boys makes fun of this type of stuff.
Oh yeah, Dawn of the Seven and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
But I thought that Rebirth was more fun than the last two movies.
I agree.
I thought Jurassic World Rebirth brought the fun, thrills, and excitement back to the IP of Jurassic, because while I will stand over on my hill to tell you that the characters in this movie, by God, were so fucking flat to the point that even seeing the greats of Scarlett Johansson or Biceps Ali in this movie, it's irrelevant. I thought the best thing in terms of the characters was seeing Jonathan Bailey do an American accent and take his first step forward in my prediction that he would be a good suit for a new Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah. I agree with you. I thought that for some reason, right, with all the marketing and you had even said, it's like, oh, you're not excited for, like, you know, Scarlett Johansson leading the film, and it's like, I don't get the hype around Scarlett Johansson, and I think that this movie especially just didn't have her as. It didn't feel like she was the lead character. She didn't feel like a leading lady or anything like that. Like, she was the main character.
She was just one of the main.
She was just
crew.
one of the characters.
Yeah.
Jonathan Bailey, though, he felt to me as a bit of a standout. All right, I quite enjoyed him, and I thought, oh, is he going to be like the nerd that's brought along, and he's, you know, with his bug spray or whatever, and doesn't want to be there at all?
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't go with that trope. He was just kind of a sexy doctor almost, of like, oh, he's a nerd with a specialist subject, but he's a perfectly fine he's capable leading man material.
Yeah. I could see them doing a new Jurassic movie after this, and he be the leading character of that movie.
Yeah.
Similar to how Ian Malcolm was the lead of the sequel, not Alan Grant. Because Jurassic movies are known for switching up their characters of who is the lead and who's in what and where. You know? So I could see
They can bounce around. It's
I really do not expect the likes of Biceps Ali or ScarJo to come back for a sequel to this, but Jonathan Bailey, his character, I could see him return.
Absolutely.
But like what you're saying, the nerd, you know, bug spray, the glasses, always talking science, and he knows what to do, but he can't have himself in the field. They kind of were borderline doing that anyway, because you do have the guy with Biceps Ali, and I say Biceps Ali because look at his fucking biceps, they're fucking massive. But he's the hunter type of guy who can...
the hunter captain. They all fit within certain tropes.
And then you have the fucking pharmaceutical tycoon billionaire businessman literally wearing the suit, and then you have the female lead. They're all stereotypical caricatures of characters that we've seen in this franchise throughout. Yeah. There's no...
Just swap them out for any other generic actor or generic character.
Yeah.
Then
there's nothing else to them. And then you have obviously you need children in the Jurassic movies. You always need to have children. And then you have the parent with them, which is grand.
I think they really missed a trick with those characters.
The family?
The family.
And what's that?
So I think that they made a mistake a couple of times, actually. The movie should have opened with the boat scene.
Probably, because with the opening with the D-Rex, the fucking bulge-headed beluga whale-looking rancor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the mutated dinosaur.
Yeah, it's starting off with that scene. That was less effective than the opening scene of the first Jurassic World movie with the
Indominus Rex.
The Indominus Rex hatching from its egg.
Yeah,
that was more effective to tease what was to come in the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this mutation dinosaur, that's a throwaway, cheesy.
Sometimes it feels like they're trailer moments. It's like
Yeah.
that whole opening sequence is like to explain how or why this island is no longer in use. It's like, I don't need to see that. Like,
you don't need
them,
that.
Just have them stumble upon the island and they're trying to figure out why this went wrong or what happened here.
Guess what? When they revealed that there's a second island in Jurassic 2 and they go back to that island in the third one, there was no backstory and there was no flashback to see what happened here and what went wrong and why this island was abandoned, why the research facility was abandoned.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, we're going to do another research facility here. So you had 2 research facilities. Why can't you just go back to the one you introduced already? The Jurassic World trilogy ignored that one for some stupid reason. I want to go back to see the Spinosaurus. I want to go back to see that one that killed the iconic titular T-Rex. Because this Spinosaurus, an untraditional dinosaur to slap on the logo of your franchise, is taken over, and that shouldn't be a good thing because it's not traditional with the long snout and it's more vicious and aggressive and the big arms and it can swim.
The story is there and the pieces are in place, so why not go back to it?
I think it would have been great if you went back to the Spinosaurus, but no, they go to this new island, which was the research facility for the old park. You're just creating a new island just for the sake of it, and then you're just creating mutants because where to go from here.
Well, you know what? We'll get to the mutants because I do have a strong opinion about the mutant dinosaurs.
All right.
But I think had this movie opened with the characters on the boat, then I actually think that would have been more effective. Of like, we're still in this Jurassic World where just people out on a regular old day just wanting to go on their boat and they're attacked by these dinosaurs.
Stupidity aside, there's no realistic reason why they'll ever be out that far on their own, unprotected, knowing that there are dinosaurs in the area. What? There's dinosaurs in the water?
But opening with that scene, you can leave them on a bit of a cliffhanger where you don't know what's going on, because as it takes place in the movie, we're with ScarJo and we're with Mahershala Ali, we're with Jonathan Bailey, and then all of a sudden we just cut away to these characters on the boat, and then we're with them for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay, like I like all the characters, they're fine, they're perfectly fine. I don't, a lot of people can say, oh, I found this person annoying, whatever. It's like, I think they all fit into the tropes.
No, I found the douchebag teenager boyfriend annoying until.
But that was the point. You're supposed to find him annoying. Yeah,
But what I did like with that is the scene they introduced them in was the scene that they were attacked.
Yeah.
They didn't introduce them and then cut back to the mercenaries with the main characters and then cut back to them again. That's when they get dumped over and they capsize.
See, the thing is that they're introduced, then we immediately go back to the mercenaries and they hear the distress signal.
Yes.
And then they're part of the plot.
Yeah.
Whereas I kind of would have liked a little bit more, like if it had been the very first scene and then we continue with the mercenaries and then they hear the distress signal and then they're starting to debate like, oh, someone will be along in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
We as an audience with this film know, oh, they've just capsized and there probably will be someone along. Whereas if it had been at the start of the film, you don't know how long they've been out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been there a couple of days and then it's really the right choice to come get them.
Yeah.
And maybe they come and collect them and they say that, oh, we've been stranded here for 2 days. Thank you so much. We would have died without you.
Whether that would be the case or not, however long they were capsized and stranded on their boat like that, however long that would be, the fact alone that the movie could have gone on for at least 45 minutes, 40 minutes from when they introduced the characters in New York and then in the museum and then travelling to the docking area where they meet Biceps. That's a period of 40 minutes of you occasionally thinking to yourself as an audience, we're just going to leave that family.
Yeah, whatever happened to them.
Yeah, what? They're just stranded there for the rest of me. When they come back into the play? The fact that we're following these main characters and you're still being poked with the possibility of what's going to happen with them and where it's going to come through and all, that would actually generate a little bit more excitement.
Yeah.
And I think you've just instantly made this movie a little bit better had it done it that way. Because
the shame it had.
The ineffectiveness of that opening scene where it's like, I don't care that death by Snickers wrapper. It's so fucking stupid that's what caused this entire research facility. Like, everyone's walking around wearing suits.
Yeah.
Imagine wearing those suits for the entirety of your 12-hour work shift. And you're
walking around with a Snickers bar.
You're just that incompetent. It's like, come on, we are dealing with fucking
dinosaurs
here, mutated dinosaurs, and you're fucking going around like that. Where's your vetting? and so it's just ineffective. because the door damaged, and then
The door damaged in one area, so that did a whole shutdown for the whole system.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's just a little bit too convenient for the plot. Like, just have that, oh, there was a malfunction, there was a failure, and they all got left out. You know, we don't need to have that explained to us either.
But then it didn't really go forward in how this lab did become overrun with dinosaurs, like the mutation dinosaur, the D-Rex. It was still roaming about behind a sealed door. Like, I tell you what, I like the atmosphere it captured, and we can talk about that later on. But the fact that Yuan was about to open the key, but she was opening the door with the key.
Yeah,
she was
too scared. Yeah,
because she saw what was behind him before we did as an audience, and the red mist and the smoky area, how it was just sort of coming in. Like, I like it. We've seen that Gareth Edwards can be good like that.
he did it with Godzilla. Like, he knows how to make big things scary.
He did a little bit in Rogue One, I think, or at least in the trailer. The scene was cut where you're looking
With the AT-AT.
Yeah, you're looking up at them. It's like that, capturing the monstrosity of that mechanical being. It's quite good. He was a good choice. Do you know David Leitch was actually originally...
David Leitch? Oh, okay.
He was actually offered this, but he dropped out almost as quickly as it was announced. But I think he was offered it, said no. Later on, the news came out that he was offered it, and almost immediately he said no.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The timeline is not an exact of us hearing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that the other thing that they missed out with this family is that once they get to the island, they keep the family and the mercenaries separate entirely.
Yeah.
Mix them up a bit. What are you doing? I was like, mix up the characters a bit, and we can have a bit of variety of people that aren't equipped for this situation. It's like, if we have 4 people that know each other and aren't equipped for the situation, and then we have 4 people that are equipped for the situation, it's like, that's not interesting. Have a bit of a mix.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I did think that as well, because as soon as the characters jumped from the boat, the family did, and so we have the A team with the mercenaries and that main story plot, and we have the B storyline with the family. But I thought the family scenes was actually better. So did I. I thought the B team was more of interesting watch than the mercenaries and what the plot of the movie was. Like, every time we cut back to the family, I was actually enjoying them. I thought it captured a little bit of what the original was, with Alan Grant stuck on the island with the kids.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I would have thought it would be interesting to see maybe Biceps be in a group with the youngest girl and maybe the father, or
I had the perfect. I figured this out.
Oh, go on. Gives.
I would have Mahershala Ali and Rupert Friend.
Yeah.
With the father and the littlest daughter.
3 men and a baby. Yeah.
3 men and a baby. Yeah. And then I would have the other two, so the boyfriend and the older daughter, with ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey. Now, I think that would create an interesting dynamic where the father doesn't know if his daughter is dead or not.
Yeah.
Because she fell off the boat.
Yeah.
And he's with the man who pushed her off or didn't help her get up.
Yeah.
And so he's just trying to figure out if she's alive or not, whereas he knows, or Rupert Friend would think, oh, I'm the one that killed her. I think that would create an interesting dynamic, especially if you have those 2 characters get on and be friendly to each other. And then when they reunite, that's when the daughter says, he pushed me off, you know, and that is like, what do you mean? Like, you know, I think that would have been a really interesting dynamic. And then also seeing the 2 teenagers with Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson, that they're ill prepared for dealing with dinosaurs or anything like that, and then these 2 have to protect them.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a much better, like, mix of characters.
You literally just made it a little bit more interesting. I swear to Christ. You've seen this most recently and you've already generated these thoughts, whereas I just thought, yeah, it was fine. That's actually really interesting. I like that. Anyway.
What you said there of, like, harkening back to Alan and the 2 kids.
Yeah.
Like, characters that really have no business being together.
But you see, in that original movie, that was the main storyline. That was storyline A.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought the entire family, when they're on their own, isolated away from the mercenaries and the professionals who are capable of getting out alive, I thought the Delgado family was more of an interesting watch. I thought it was more thrilling to watch them try to navigate the jungle and trying to survive. And yeah, because I harken back to the original.
I quite liked the Tyrannosaurus Rex sequence.
Just want to say this first. I mentioned it, but I'll just say it again. When it comes to the characters, And they sit down and have a little mope saying, yeah, my friend died. Yeah, her son died, so now I'm not with my wife anymore. Yeah, I miss my mom's funeral because of my life choices and my career. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't fucking care. I could not care. That's like...
It's all backstory to make you care about the characters, but it's like, but I don't need that. Like, just show cool characters and interesting characters in this moment. As opposed to... oh, this is what I did in the past. And it's like, okay, but I'm watching this movie.
Yeah.
I don't need to know that past.
And this is all the characters. Maybe bar Jonathan Beatty character, Henry Loomis. The only little tiny bit that we get is that he studied under Alan Grant. That's the only connection that we get to anything else. Name drop.
That's it.
An established character in the
And that's
lore.
fine. I'm perfectly fine with just one name drop and then we don't get anything at all.
I do like the father of the family, Ruben, because he's the Lincoln lawyer on Netflix, Manuel Garcia. I like that actor quite a bit, actually. But yeah, that side, character's boring. So in fact, for the first 45 minutes, really, I was thinking, well, maybe not 45 minutes, maybe 35. Man, I was so let down by this movie until the dinosaurs came in.
Yeah.
Until the action sequences came in with the dinosaurs. Any situation dealing with dinosaurs, hell yes. The Spinosaurus on the ocean, on the beach, and then the Delgado family with the T-Rex, and then the pterodactyl dinosaurs, and then later on in the climax. I thought the movie was on full throttle, full on, packing it into every moment of the movie that was more exciting. Because it was all dinosaurs at this point.
Yeah, I think that sometimes what the franchise can forget is how scary dinosaurs are. And we could talk about it a little bit later with the mutations and stuff like that, but when they do the dinosaurs well, they do them really well.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, the scariest dinosaur will always be the T-Rex. And very, very close second will be the Velociraptors. Because of that original film.
That's the norm. That's always been the norm.
Like, I think that's just the general consensus that the T-Rex is the king of the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
you know,
saved
that
that for last, yeah.
So when we're introduced to the T-Rex in this film and it's like it's sleeping and you're like, okay, I know now the exact danger that we're in. The whole, like, if you're moving, it'll see you, like, just stop. Like, we know kind of the rules of the T-Rex and how to combat it. And but the characters, even though they're in a world where they should also know it,
they probably don't know.
They don't know it. They've very rarely ever actually dealt with dinosaurs or anything like that.
He took his kids in the middle of an ocean in a small yacht, knowing that dinosaurs exist. I don't think he's going to know that you have to stand still if you're facing down a T-Rex.
But the way that they used the T-Rex, I don't know, did it feel like it was a little bit mutated as well, where it got in the water and started swimming? I don't think I've ever seen a T-Rex swim.
No, I took that as very traditional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
There's nothing... So I've heard online that this scene, right, is taken from the original book.
Okay.
This T-Rex scene.
Yeah.
Almost entirely.
Good. Okay. But that explains why it was so good. It's probably my favourite sequence of the film.
The T-Rex scene?
The T-Rex.
It was the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Introducing the T-Rex, like, we all know, oh my god, it's the T-Rex sleeping and then yawning, like... We see the monster asleep, and
kind of just as an animal, you know, not as the monster dinosaur, just the animal living its day-to-day life. It's just asleep.
And then when she pulls the lever to release the raft, and it balloons
pops up, and it falls down, and it's gone.
Yeah,
it's very scary. Where did that go? You know, it's such a big thing that it's like it can't possibly not be here. It hasn't just disappeared.
But I like that she keeps the camera's tracking her going across the what do you call that thing you walk on when you're about to walk into the water?
The pier.
The pier, yeah, that. Me and my words. And then as the camera's tracking her going back to meet her family, and they all board the raft, and then we see the dinosaur in the background coming out from the tall grass and taking a drink. And I felt like this sequence was captured in real time. Maybe they cut the camera a few times, but it really felt like a one-er.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Shot.
Yeah.
Because by the time they get on the raft and they start to panic and paddle away, that was all done in a wide shot with the dinosaur in the background, and then noticing the family. It's like, oh, what's this thing moving over here? And then the music starts tensing up, and then the shot of the little girl looking back at the T-Rex, and the T-Rex just standing there staring at it, and that iconic traditional Gareth Edwards shot that he pans the camera from the human perspective looking up at the monstrous being. He does it all the time, and it's just standing there, and they're trying to paddle away. And then this scene is in the trailer as well, so I I like watching the wide shot of them slowly paddling away and the dinosaur just walking towards them, getting into the water, getting ever closer. And just because they get into deep water, the dinosaur passes through them. This felt like a video game. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play the King Kong video game?
No,
I played it. This reminded me of that a little bit, but this actually makes for a good, fun video game sequence. And following them, like, it just crashes them off the raft almost instantaneously. Like, oh well, what's the point of getting the raft in the first place? They don't lose it in the long run. It's just a good fun sequence where they have to traverse the rapids of the river and avoid the chomping teeth of the T-Rex.
Yeah, I loved the when the littlest daughter was underneath the raft.
Yeah.
And the T-Rex put its teeth down into it. It felt very reminiscent of the original, like in when the two kids are in the car.
Yeah,
and it comes down on the glass, and the way that you can see the individual teeth come through the raft.
I like that a lot.
It's scary. It's like that's all I need is like scary dinosaurs, like scary situations.
I like how
and for a child in water, being attacked by a dinosaur.
I felt the claustrophobia of that.
Yeah,
I liked that. I felt the T-Rex was getting frustrated. It was like, oh,
I'm a T-Rex. I should be able to do this. Yeah,
and it took the whole thing, the whole raft in its mouth, but it didn't pop anyway. That's some fucking strong structure of it, isn't it?
Yeah, for a raft, yeah, it has to be.
Does it? Yeah, the whole fucking thing was in the T-Rex's mouth.
Yeah, but like you can hold, like sure you could hold something in your mouth without puncturing it. Do you know?
I felt like he was trying to puncture it, but even then, when the family were all in the water and they're trying to get the littlest girl to get to them, and the T-Rex was still coming forward.
Yeah,
and then I know what's gonna happen, but. You know, it's still very close to make me a little nervous. And
they're not going to kill a little girl.
They're not going to kill.
And also, it's like they might kill the little girl though.
No, they won't.
No, but you have a fear of it. You're like, come on.
It's just because it's so close. You know, it's like, you know the fail safe is in there with the two rock pillars.
Oh yeah, as soon as she gets past here, the dinosaur will give up. There's no way it's getting through here. It can't go around. It can't go over. We're safe here as long as we get it past.
Hurt his jaws as well.
Yeah.
And it just runs away. And then the raft comes back in. So that entire sequence was fun. Apparently in the book that was Alan Grant and the two kids.
Okay.
I've never read the book.
Yeah.
This movie, if not this scene, has actually made me interested to maybe seek out the book to read it.
I think the book does have some of the kind of mutated dinosaurs as well. So I don't know how much of an influence the book would have had on this movie. But can I talk a little bit about the mutated dinosaurs?
I want to talk about the Mosasaurus sequence in the aquatic.
Oh yeah, far away. We'll get to the mutated ones at the end. That's fine.
What do you think of that?
So this is the one in the water.
Pretty much the entire water sequence.
I thought it was. I think the initial sequence was fine. I thought there was a couple of sequences where, like, I thought the CGI just wasn't up to scratch, like with Scarlet falling off or what was her character's name, Z or something like that.
Zora Bennett.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know why I remember.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I knew they referred to her as Z. It's just not a. I couldn't tell you a single character's name in this. I know that you just said Zora Bennett.
Yeah.
I could not name another character in this movie.
Duncan Kincaid, Henry Loomis, Krebs.
These are all brand new.
With a fucking name like Krebs, I thought they really were going to subvert expectations and not make him the villain.
Yeah, it felt as though it was so telegraphed. It's so obvious. And I think Rupert Friend, unfortunately, does just fall into that sometimes with just the way he looks.
Yeah.
I think anytime I see him, I was like, okay, that's probably the bad guy.
He looks like a Slytherin.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he just looks like untrustworthy. I know what you mean.
I thought they were really going to make him a genuine good guy.
Yeah. I thought when Ed Serkin was introduced that maybe the rest of the crew would, like, turn around on Mahershala Ali.
What do you mean?
So I thought that we would, like, have the initial thought of, like, Rupert Friend was the bad guy and we should be wary of him. I thought that the rest of Mahershala Ali's crew would turn around and be like, actually, we're going to take it and we're going to sell it to the highest bidder. We're going to take the dino DNA. And I thought, because he does give me that vibe, Ed Serkin, as well, of being a bit of a bad guy.
Oh yeah, he was 100% teased to be a bad guy, but
that's what I was expecting.
Well, like, why was he here in the first place? Why do you have Ed Serkin here in the first place?
I don't know, because he's a named actor.
Yeah.
Like, I would recognize him. Yeah. But he's the first one to die.
He's killed off in a way that I fully expected. Oh no, he's like Billy. He's gonna come back.
Yeah.
The Spinosaurus came up after him so fucking quick, so fucking hard. And he was staring down at the little girl while he was holding on to dear life. And it pulled him down into the water. And the way they shot it as well, it was happening in the background. And the Spinosaurus had him in its mouth. No, he's not dead. I fully believed he's not dead. I don't know how. I don't know what. I thought maybe he sells his pistol and he just shoots the shit out of it. And
he'll come back later on.
Yeah, he'll come back and he'll like step in to be some sort of hero. But nope.
See, it was just so strange because then the other crew members were like not recognized names or recognized faces. So when they died, it's like, okay, yeah, you're kind of. I think that you were brought along to be that.
I thought your one dying on the beach was like, what's the point?
Yeah. We need to have a death here.
Yeah, but I didn't need that. We were just fresh off with Ed Skirring's character getting killed by a Spinosaurus. So, like, save one per different species of dinosaur.
Or even put that girl with the family. And
it's redundant at this point. Just having one with the family is like, what's the point?
But have her there to die. In the family situation, so that they can see it, because they don't face any kind of deaths or anything like that.
But they're supposed to be the fun.
I know.
They're supposed to be the fun ride of it, whereas we're supposed to take these guys seriously. But like, with another Spinosaurus, it's like, yeah, whatever. And they were not that big either, the Spinosaurus.
No, they're relatively small.
Yeah.
But there was a bit where Scarlett Johansson, like, she was attached to like the bow of the ship and she fell, and then the what was it called? The Megasaurus? What was Mosasaurus.
Even though it looks different from the one we've seen in Jurassic World.
One, I was like, is that the same dinosaur? Because the one in Jurassic World, the first one, was huge compared to this one.
Yeah.
But it was when she fell off and then it was like snapping at her. And I was like, okay, I know that's nothing snapping at nothing, because that's not Scarlett Johansson falling backwards.
I didn't think that at all.
There was a few times it was like when that happened, when they were jumping from the boat into the water. There was a few shots where it was like a big vista and you could see them rappelling down on the mountain.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, no, fair enough. You're right there. That more so stood out. Green screen. I also thought the whole Bronchiosaurus, the long necks.
Yeah, that was a bit. You know what? I think it was just the tails. The tails were putting me off. It felt like they were more alien than they were dinosaur.
I can see where you're coming from with the alien aspect, but if they look alien, how does the D-Rex not look alien?
It does.
Oh, well then there you go. Fair enough. But I did like seeing Jonathan Bailey become all excited to see them in their natural habitat.
That
he's actually giddy like a little boy.
That sequence was trying to evoke your Jurassic Park memories.
Yeah,
like it's that scene where Alan Grant and Laura Dern's character, I can't think of her character's name, when the two of them see the dinosaurs for the first time and the music swells and it's like, oh my god, he's done it, he's brought the dinosaurs back. And it's that sequence as well. It's, you're seeing them there, the music is swelling exactly the same way, and you're seeing the majesty of these dinosaurs, where it's not the carnivorous ones, it's these herbivores. Like, these are the good dinosaurs, because they don't eat meat, they're the good ones, that kind of way. But I think that it's hard to not get caught up in the moment of the nostalgia, and it's you can be tricked. I think your brain can be tricked as soon as you hear a certain piece of music and you get tingles. It's like you're tricking me. It's like, this isn't good, you're trying to make me remember something that I thought was good. And I think that sequence is really nice, but you're really trying to make me remember how I felt when I watched Jurassic Park.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but what you just said literally happened to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
With that sequence?
Nope.
No, with a different sequence.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it now?
I don't want to talk about the scene, but I'll talk about what it was.
Okay.
Directed by Gareth Edwards.
Oh, at the very end?
Yeah, when they're all on the boat and it's still the film, but then pops up in the traditional Jurassic Park text.
Font, yeah.
Yeah, that font. Directed by Gareth Edwards, and the music swells, and the Jurassic Park music. I had a big smile on my face because
even though you're not happy with the film, you're like, oh, I know that font.
Yeah, it made me happy because it captured a moment that I like in the original movie, and I thought this movie was trying to be to the original Jurassic Park what The Force Awakens was trying to be to the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
More so than anything else. I know it's just tricking me, but I still smiled anyway. Like, I just had a big smile on my face because I like it. And like I said, I'd actually go back. I've a definitive answer now. Yeah, the first Jurassic Park movie is the best.
Oh, 100%.
And it's now my favourite. I always thought maybe the third one I liked the most because I saw it the most as a child.
Yeah.
But no, the first one's the best. It's always going to be the best.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could buy the original book and to read it just to check it out.
Yeah, they with that sequence where they are in the field with the big dinosaurs, there was a small bit where Jonathan Bailey like went up to its leg to feel it.
Yeah.
And I'm almost certain that that's the only time where it even appears as though there's a practical dinosaur or something practical on
Mechanical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything else is all CG. And that was I don't know if you remember in the first film, it's such a great sequence where they come across the dinosaur that's sick.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of moving around it and it's breathing and it's laboured, and Alan Grant like lays on its belly and like goes up and down. It's so it just, that made it feel real. That made it feel like, oh, there's actually dinosaurs here. And
you're making me want to watch it.
I know.
I want to watch it now.
What I'm saying is that this film is missing anything like that. Like Jonathan Bailey goes up to the leg and feels the leg and it's like, yeah, but that's so big that I can't. That's just a pillar. You know, I'm not. I don't have a connection.
That's a massive tree trunk.
Yeah, you're just like going up to a tree trunk and putting your hand in it. And
yeah. At least Jurassic World had a mechanical Bronchiosaurus where Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard were, you know, circling around the head, and it was reacting. You know, the poor thing was dying, but it was still a practical set.
Yeah.
At least I had that. But what did you make of the pterodactyl scene? Still back to the storyline where we guess we don't really care that they're capturing DNA to save and cure disease. Yeah, don't care. Let's hurry up with this scene so we can go back to the main plot with the family.
It felt a little bit cartoonish in certain aspects.
The dinosaur there, the one with the wings and the eggs, that looked very dorky, didn't it? The head and the beak almost looked like it outmasked its body.
See, the thing is that they lean too heavily on the mutations of it all. Where I'm like, is this supposed to be a pterodactyl, or is this supposed to be a different type of dinosaur, or is it mutation? Like, there was so many different variables of what it could be that I wasn't sure what it was at all. The bit where your man is climbing up and trying to get away, and then by the time that it gets up to the top, he's already in its mouth.
I fucking love that.
I thought that was very good
because the whole time he's kicking it,
he's just getting away.
He's played off as like a bit of a comic relief. He's only speaking French all the time, and he looks like he's the muscle. And you thought, oh no, he's going to get up because this sequence needs to continue on, and the two lads are trying to pull him up, and you don't. It doesn't.
And they're still labouring. They're still pulling him.
Yeah,
you know?
And it doesn't linger on long enough for you to think, oh no, he's actually going to die here, because when its head raises up from the cliff and the two lads are there, oh my god, it's gotten ahead of him now, and it's going to start attacking them. It's like, no, it's in his fucking mouth.
He's already gone. Yeah.
I thought that was very effective. Remember what I said where the unaffectedness of your one getting killed at the beach?
Yeah. That's the opposite here.
That is the total opposite. I think he has the best stat in this movie. I think he's the best stat. Because of how they did it. Because of
because of the surprise of it. Okay. I was thinking about another one that we'll get to later, but I agree with you.
Because of the effect of it all, because it made my jaw drop, it put me back in my seat, and the fact that...
It's because we don't get a shot of him being eaten until it already pops its head up. It's
and I'm kind of glad we don't see that, because that would be a bit too horrifying to see.
Yeah.
I was well done. I applaud that.
It felt a little bit cartoonish then when we have Jonathan Bailey swinging from the thing to get the vial.
Yeah.
And then when he falls... and he just like hits every tree leaf on the way down and then into water, and then the parachute falls perfectly beside him. I was like, okay, this feels now like it's a cartoon. This isn't the real world.
I felt a little shock. I was like, oh my god, they just killed him. I heard someone go in the background. I was like, no, they're not going to kill the sexy young lad here.
No,
they're not going to do that. He's too ripe for a potential lead of this IP going forward.
It felt that, do you know when Rupert Friend and Mahershala, they found the staircase?
Yeah.
I thought that was going to lead them down into the pterodactyl hut, but no, it was just a convenient way of getting them off the cliff.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh yeah, now we're all here.
I thought the exact same thing as well. I also thought, well, yeah, I did think it was going to lead to the nest, to the pterodactyl nest, but no, it just gets them down. Okay, so whatever. Oh, do you know what I did like? Is the necessity when they got onto the beach and they lost their boat, and Scarlett Johansson's given her big spiel on what they have to do and why they have to do it in time for her rescue helicopter she pre-organised to come get her. Like, she's saying this giving the whole line of dialogue while she's grabbing all she has around her, grabbing her kit, cutting the wires to get through the fence, and the music was starting to bump up and up. And I felt like, oh, I feel the essence of this now. I feel, because they're all
the necessity of it.
Yeah, they're all, trekking upwards into the hill. Each person limited weaponry. They have no weapons whatsoever. It's like we never had any weapons anyway, and
yeah, they went in with tranquilizers.
Yeah. And that's all done now. It captured a little bit of Jurassic World too, a little bit. I thought. Okay. I appreciate that. I just thought, we're getting a bit, up paced here. We're getting a bit fast tracked now into the meat and the crux of the film. We never fully got that anyway. Not the way it should have been, not the way I wanted to, but I just liked the sequence. A potential promise that led to nothing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get you.
Real lack of velociraptors in this movie.
Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to say. There's a sequence with velociraptors where they're attacked by a pterodactyl, where your man, the boyfriend, is going for a piss.
Yeah. I like the way they entered the frame.
No, I disagree.
No?
I think that sequence should have been from the perspective of the velociraptors. Velociraptors are just as scary as the T-Rex, but for different reasons, because they're small, because they're fast, because they will rip you to shreds. But the way that the sequence takes place, where they're just in the background, you're not giving them not the reverence they deserve, but like the status they deserve. Do you know? It's like they're scary. We should maybe have a couple of shots like from their perspective of it, maybe like stalking up on them,
like how Predator was looking at the crew in the original Predator. I know you haven't seen the movie much, but like, there are multiple sequences where you see the Predator's POV.
Yeah, maybe a couple of POV shots, maybe just a couple of insert shots of like the claw or something like that. It's like what's coming.
Yeah,
to be like, oh shit, this guy is going to get eaten by a velociraptor, and then you could still have
the result be
that the pterodactyl comes in.
Pterodactyl velociraptor.
Whatever it is, yeah. But I just felt as though it wasn't... They didn't treat the velociraptors with the what they deserve. They didn't get what they deserved.
I know what you mean. Respect.
It's respect, yeah. They're, for me... At the end of Jurassic Park, it's the T-Rexes and the velociraptors.
Yeah.
They're the main antagonists, really. So...
And we just have mutations of those.
Yeah, and I just don't think that... And that's the only sequence of velociraptors at all.
If we had a dedicated T-Rex scene.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a dedicated velociraptor scene.
No,
it was... The velociraptors were jobbed by a mutation of a velociraptor. A velociraptor with wings. That's it. Because those are used as the ones in the end when they are in the convenience store and they're going around the barriers and the neck of theirs are poking the top of it and you see the characters' kids.
See, the fact that I didn't even realise that those were a mutation of velociraptors with wings.
Well, that's the way I took it.
Yeah, well, if that was the intention, that's unclear to me, which is bad. If the fact that you said a velociraptor with wings, I thought, oh shit, that's scary. But if that's what that was, then I didn't find that those to be clear enough that they were velociraptors with wings.
Just make them.
They were scary.
Just make them velociraptors with feathers.
Yeah, how they should have been.
Yeah.
how actual velociraptors were.
Just divvy it up like that and it'll be something new that we all recognise.
Yeah.
There you go. Problem solved. What did you make then of God Complex?
The D-Rex.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, I'll be honest with you. I just thought, when it comes to the mutations, and I've kind of talked about it a little bit, I was like, I don't need them. I think that the dinosaurs themselves can be scary. Look back at the first film. T-Rex, the velociraptors, the one that had the neck thing,
where it shoots goo at you, and it goes
though, like those dinosaurs alone can be scary. Throw in a pterodactyl, like I think that you can do a lot with the different types of dinosaurs. Even some of the herbivores can be aggressive. You don't have to have them be just they won't eat us. It's like, okay, yeah, but they could maul you. They could roll you to bits,
or they can stomp you.
Exactly. So I don't need the mutations at all. So when the D-Rex came in and it did just look like a rancor, I was a bit like, okay, I'm not scared of this at all. I thought that the design of having the big long legs and the little arms, I was like, okay, that's cool, but this doesn't feel like a dinosaur whatsoever. This feels like an alien.
I kind of recall you having the optimistic perspective. Well, yeah, there's supposed to be mutations. They're supposed to be...
Initially, yeah, that did excite me.
Whereas I was in the opposite fact. Like, no, I don't need another mutated dinosaur. Just go... You're saying go back to the traditional roots where characters are stranded on an island full of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's scary enough. That's why I was looking forward to this movie. And that's why I thought, yes, go back to what we know Jurassic Park to be, not this science fiction action flick. Go back to the horror roots and bring back the fun.
I think what I was initially excited for was these are the dinosaurs that went wrong. I think that kind of mutation, like when they go into the lab and there's like a velociraptor with two heads.
Yeah.
That kind of mutation that's what I was more interested in, as opposed to we're going to mix this with this and we're going to mix this with this. And I think that's what the Andromedus Rex is. It's a T-Rex with velociraptor DNA, like the mix of the two of them or something like that. But I did like the idea of, these are the things that shouldn't have ever been.
Yeah.
But because the whole island is a mix of them, I was like, okay, it's lesser so. If there had just been the D-Rex, then maybe, or if they had gone through the lab and that you had seen all these different variations, fair enough. But I think that having too many of them, it was too much.
Yeah, pretty much all of them were like that. The only traditional looking dinosaur really was the T-Rex.
Yeah, I think you're right. Even the little the one that the little girl had with her, Dolores.
Yeah.
What was that? It was supposed to be a brontosaurus, or was it like a mix of like those, the like little ones that maybe the girl at the start of Jurassic Park 2 was playing with?
Yeah.
It was like a mix of that and a brontosaurus or something like that.
No, I never thought of it like that. It looked like I don't know what a brontosaurus is. Is it the brontosaurus, the one that was sick in the original Jurassic Park?
I think so, yeah.
That's a brontosaurus?
I think so. I'll be honest with you, I'm not great with my dinosaurs.
Did you watch The Land Before Time?
Yeah.
Do you know the yellow dinosaur?
That's the one, yeah.
That one.
That's it, yeah. Couldn't tell you the names.
Start with an S. She was a meanie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
The yellow one,
The yellow one from the fucking Land Before Time.
Yeah.
That's why I call the good dinosaurs long necks.
Yeah.
Because they have long necks.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my knowledge of dinosaurs. But that's what I thought that one was. A baby dinosaur.
So did I, but it felt like it was too small.
I just thought it was a baby one. Look, that was only there just to sell merchandise.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Like
that's your BB-8.
Or Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
There's no call for that dinosaur to be there because its mother never showed up to retrieve it or to save the characters indirectly. None of that. It was just there because it was there. Pretty much like everything else in this movie. There just to be there.
Yeah.
And even though the little girl's taking the baby away from its natural habitat.
That's perfectly fine.
Back to civilization for it to die, because apparently the crux of this movie is that dinosaurs outside of Ecuador are dying.
There was... I like that they kind of roll back the Jurassic World aspect of it, where you would just encounter dinosaurs in the wild. I did like at the beginning the fact that there was the dinosaur that had like broken out of the zoo and was like causing a pileup. I was like, okay, that's I like that little aspect of it, of like that dinosaurs are a part of this world. They can be an inconvenience like this.
I don't like that people are walking by as if, it's another Tuesday.
Yeah, see,
if that was a fucking elephant or a giraffe, it'd be drawing a crowd.
Yeah. And you know what? The dialogue at the beginning, like the writing on the screen, is like, interest in dinosaurs has waned. I'm like, read the writing on the wall. That's the same with this franchise. Like, the interest in the dinosaurs has waned. And you're putting that at the beginning of your movie. It's like, if you're creating a world where there's no longer an awe for the dinosaurs, why do we care? Why would we as an audience care about the awe of this world?
It's just a mistake, to be honest. Like, it shouldn't be the case. Like, they're dinosaurs, wow enough, as Chris Pratt said.
But I do... You're right, with the fact that they had to retreat back to the equator, and that's the only climate they can live in.
Yeah,
like, that's the climate I want to see them in. I want to take characters and put them out of their element and put them in the world of the dinosaurs, rather than seeing the dinosaurs in our world, that kind of way. I think it was interesting to see that in Jurassic Park 2, where the T-Rex came to San Francisco
for the first time ever. We've seen
it's now almost every film is that now.
The middle movie of the second trilogy did the same thing, brought the dinosaurs into our world,
and then the third one was the whole world, is
more or less. But I do like the fact that they restrained it now to that area. When the start of this movie opened up, and each movie of the original trilogy opens up Isla Nublar or Isla Sorna. This island comes up Isla or something that I can't pronounce. It's such a fucking long name. It's actually too ridiculous. It's like, you can't just make it the second island. Like, anyway, I want to talk a little bit about how Gareth Edwards portrayed the D-Rex when Biceps Ali runs away and Jonathan Bailey is there, and just conveniently a mere 5 seconds later, outside of the lab, in those big doors, you see this shadowy monster just stroll by. I love the score that came up there. It felt like the score of an abomination from God has just walked past you. Like, this should not exist. This atrocity. And I liked when...
I like that description of it, that it does feel like an abomination. You're right.
And when John Bailey shot the flare up,
and it's in the background with the smoke.
It walked past him,
Yeah.
and then he turns around, and then the music creeping up. It's like this. This is something that's very unnatural, and it's you're still in its habitat. And then it's good that the helicopter saw him. Felt a bit too soon for the sake of the third act, because it feels like we're nowhere near the third act. Why are you bringing the helicopter in to rescue them so early?
I don't know. I felt like the movie dragged. I felt like I was like, all right, come on, wrap it up here.
Oh no, I was the opposite. No,
Okay.
come on, like, it wasn't late for you when you saw it. Maybe you were thinking that.
No, I did just feel it. I think when they were getting the pterodactyl leg, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, is this still going?
So I bet when in the midst of the smoke, when the D-Rex came out of the smoke
with the helicopter in its mouth, I did like that. I'll give it props for that.
fucking class. I thought that was great. It meant that we're in for another 20 more minutes, so I'm sure you were saying, oh, for fuck's sake.
No, I like the shot where Jonathan Bailey had the flare
Yeah.
and the smoke behind him, and you just see its kind of shadow, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, that's scary. And then when it comes into frame with the helicopter in its mouth,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, you kind of put your suspension of disbelief out there, because we didn't hear any screams from those people, we didn't hear the crunch of the helicopter or anything
Yeah.
like that you just kind of forget about it for this jump scare.
But it was a good jump scare as well. It actually was a similar effect to when the pterodactyl dinosaur killed your man, when it ate him off the cliff.
It could have easily just been the D-Rex coming into frame, but the fact that
it had the helicopter.
in its mouth,
Yeah.
it's like a bit of consequence. We have a couple of people die, and it's like, okay, now we need to find a new way off this island.
Yeah, the same way that caused them to be stranded in this island in the first place, on a small boat in the middle of the ocean where Spinosauruses and the Mosasaurus roam. Okay,
I'm sure that they got off the island perfectly fine
I'm
and
sure
encountered no difficulties.
I'm sure it was fine. The credits rolled. The
Yeah.
music was playing. It ends all happy. But the D-Rex, while I think, Jesus Christ, another mutation, I thought good atmosphere, good environment, good use of the camera. I liked
does
it
well
all.
with the big monsters.
He does
did the
do
same
well.
with Godzilla. He did the same with Rogue One. I know it wasn't in the film, but in that trailer,
He was a great choice for this movie.
I think I would have rathered him. I was going to say I'd rather him do another Godzilla or Kong movie, because that was such a problem I had with the last one, was the size, the scale,
Oh no,
and perspective and stuff
those
like that.
franchise movies are so far gone too mediocre. I don't want him to go near it. I hold Gareth Edwards in a higher regard now.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm worried that because this film hasn't garnered the reception that it should have, not that it should have, but
that we would have wanted
that
it
we
to
would have wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And with the creator wasn't the same.
Yeah.
And Rogue One wasn't well received. I'm afraid that he won't direct anymore. I feel like he's gonna be knocked back, or maybe studios won't trust him. He's not like a surefire thing. You know, I just think that I really like him. I like all of the things that he's done.
Yeah.
But I think generally his things just don't land. It just don't seem to land with the general public, and I'm afraid that he will maybe want to take a step back and not do these things anymore. Now maybe he won't want to do franchises anymore. Maybe he'll switch over and do maybe more independent stuff, like The Creator, which I loved. It was one of my favorite films of not last year, the year before. 2023 was one of my favorite films of that year, but that also didn't get the reception that it needed.
Hey, look, I don't mind him hopscotching one franchise to another. Like, I'd like to see, after what he did to The Creator. Was it you who once said let him do a Star Trek movie or something like that? Or
I think I may have said that. All right, yeah, Gareth Edwards, Star Trek. I could, I think I definitely did say that.
Yeah.
I did say that in our bank episode that we haven't released yet for Star Trek.
Anywho, tease. But
yeah, he's dipped his hands in the Godzilla franchise, the Star Wars franchise, the Jurassic franchise. Like those are three pretty big franchises.
Yeah, pretty good. Maybe a Pirates of the Caribbean.
Maybe Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah,
that'd be a decent one. Was your favorite death then the pharmaceutical guy?
Initially, I did think that, and the reason I thought that was because it was a little bit of gore. like we saw a little bit of blood and the hand coming off as well.
We saw the separation from limbs and torso.
And you know well as soon as he handcuffed his hand to that briefcase, I was like, okay, so that hand's coming off. Like you just know that, like, okay, he's getting the chomp.
Yeah.
I did initially think that, but you're right. After discussing it, I think the pterodactyl one was probably the better death because of the surprise of it all.
Yeah. I like the self-efficiency of him, though. Like, he had the initiative to not just abandon Scarjo.
Oh, it's the self-preservation.
Oh,
absolutely, yeah. That's...
But like, he's fully trying to get himself off the island, drive it down, and run into, like, other dinosaurs. It just so happened he ended up in the exact same spot as the rest of the characters.
Yeah.
And it was all reminiscent of the Rancor from Star Wars.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was too reminiscent of that. I would have gone for a little bit of a different facial design. Like, as I said, I liked the long arms, like the long legs and the short arms. That's fine, but the face was just a little bit too Rancor-like.
Yeah, they said they took inspiration from that and a xenomorph.
Okay, I wouldn't have got the xenomorph at all.
It does look like an alien monster.
Yeah. Maybe with the longer legs, that's what they went for, and the Rancor was the face. But yeah, it didn't work for me now, to be honest. Just as a whole.
Yeah. Biceps Ali tried to have a sacrificial moment, but then that didn't. And, you know...
I liked that. I didn't need him to have a sacrificial moment. I liked that he gets that moment, but then as soon as it cuts away, I was like, okay, he's not dead. There's no way. Like, if we don't see a character die, they're not dead.
Yeah, but I didn't care when he just appeared. He's fine. Mm-hmm. But how did he get...
Oh, well, if the thing was attracted to light, I had it in my head as like, well, you can just throw the flare and it'll follow the flare. I had just had that in my mind because it was so distracted by the light.
Yeah.
That, here's one guy waving this thing here, or there's 7 other people here that I could eat. I'll go for this guy. So it's clearly the flare. So I just assumed that and the fact that there is a shot where Jonathan Bailey took multiple flare, and Mahershala took those from him. So I was like, okay, grand. So he's gonna light one, throw it away, and then he's gonna use the flare to get saved later on.
There's a lot of survivors in this movie, I thought. But
but then again, there are also a good few deaths. We have 4 deaths, but that's like, you're right. There are just a lot of characters.
Yeah,
we have the 4 family characters, and then we've got
Biceps, Scarjo, Jonathan Bailey.
So 7 characters, and then we lost 4.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, not many die in the original anyway.
No,
there wasn't too many.
Not too many.
But yeah, look, I thought the movie brought back the fun and the excitement that the last 2 movies did not. It just needed a better script.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, I think that this squarely fits perfectly in the middle of my rankings of where I would watch Jurassic Park movies. I think I would watch, for me, it would be Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 2, this, 3, and then the last 2 Jurassic World movies. But that's Jurassic Park 3. I know that would have been one of your favorites, but that's just because I didn't see that as a kid.
I just grew up watching it, but I know it's not the best. If I had a choice to... In a year's time, if I had a choice to... No, I'll pick this because I've seen this once. But
yeah,
I could actually
watch it again.
I'll watch this again.
Way quicker than the last 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched the last 2.
I watched Jurassic Fallen Kingdom only in anticipation for Dominion. But I didn't watch any Jurassic Park movies in the lead up to this because of my lack of excitement. And if it was like, okay, you can only watch one Jurassic Park movie, I would just watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
There's no reason to watch anything beyond that. Maybe Jurassic World, the first one.
Look, we got a few things out of it anyway. I got a popcorn bucket and a soda drink out of it, custom design of the Jurassic, and
I got to see it with my sister. And
there you go.
She seemed to enjoy it.
That's good. A fun movie that I'm sure I'll watch at least one more time before death. And Jonathan Bailey. Indiana Jones.
I could see it. After this, I could see that.
Yeah. Anywho.
Have you got any recommendations before we let these people go?
I'm going to recommend a show I just finished that I've been watching maybe for 4 years, been running since 2017, called Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, I've not watched it, but I do. It is one of those ones that I've been meaning to watch.
Do you know what it's about?
I know it's Elizabeth Moss.
Anything else?
Nope.
I'll let you watch it and figure out for yourself. But it lasted for 6 seasons, waiting 3 years for season 6, and good cast, good story, quite effectiveness. I would compare it on the same level of Game of Thrones and maybe something else I can't think of when it comes to diverse, hateful characters
Okay.
having such excellent narratives.
Okay. You've sold me just on that.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I
quite effective.
like a character that I hate, but I enjoy watching them. And that by the sounds of it, that's what you got.
And you might be thinking, I like this character more, and they're my favorite. And then the next season, this character is fucking awesome.
You can. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
It's a good show. End of an era, and we move on to the next. The Handmaid's Tale, great show. Elizabeth Moss is the workings of being a good director. She directed a load of episodes, so it's good. Good. I'd recommend that.
I'll recommend then, and I'll jump on your bandwagon and also recommend an Elizabeth Moss. I will recommend Mad Men.
Nice.
Yeah, you asked me in our review last year, will I watch Mad Men? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I watched Mad Men, and I really enjoyed it.
Guess what? I never got to ask you. I've been meaning to, but I never got to ask you what you thought of it all, and I suppose the ending. Do you want to talk about it here quickly, on the record or off the record?
Well, I mean, like, I think that there's not much to say. Like, it's all very just fly on the wall, and like, there's no big like season arcs or story arcs or anything like that. Like, the characters will go through arcs themselves, or they'll be going through certain things, but
It's very much character.
it's slice of life.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if I had one criticism, I would have maybe liked to see a few more time jumps. I would have liked to see them go beyond the 60s, maybe just into the 70s. Like, I would have loved to see, like, what would the first black copywriter, how would that have gone down in the office? You know, because we do get a little bit of that of, like, the typists and stuff like that, like, integrating the office. But I would have liked to see, like, okay, let's put a black man on the same level as some of these other characters.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see a few more time jumps in that. But I really enjoyed the show. I liked the slice of life. I liked the fly on the wall aspect of it, where even with the way that it ended, like, had it not ended that way and had it continued on, I could have just continued watching it. It's one of those shows that you could have just run forever.
Yeah.
Because there's no, like, building to anything.
It's very much an adult show. It's a grown-up show.
Yeah.
You know, I could see kids watching Game of Thrones before this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Glad you watched it. Good man. I do have a thought. Wouldn't it be great to see a limited sequel series with Kieran Shipka's character? And she's my
favorite character.
And maybe
Sally Draper.
Yeah, and maybe she tried to follow in her father's footsteps, kinda, but not really. And then she has her own little flaws. And maybe
I think that you could definitely see her not in an ad business. I think that whatever she would do, she would be a female Don Draper in a way.
that's what I'd like to see. It doesn't even need to be Mad Men, but I would like to see her be like her own little. She's like her father in so many ways, and maybe you could have John Hamm return in an episode or a guest role,
A limited role,
because I don't think he wants to return to it. But I think that'd be great, just to see, because Kieran Shipka, she's good. She's a good actress.
Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you're subscribed to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice. We have new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend, so make sure that you are subscribed to never miss an episode. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios, so make sure that you check out the other podcasts in our network. We've Still Got Legs, which is a Doctor Who rewatch podcast, out every Monday at 10 a.m, as well as The Fishing Trip Files, which is a Gavin and Stacey rewatch podcast that comes out every other Wednesday, also at 10 a.m. So if you haven't already, make sure to check them out. They're down in the links below. If you haven't already, make sure that you've left us a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice, and you can also leave us a little review. It costs you nothing, gives us everything, helps us share the show, all that kind of stuff. Tell us what your favorite Jurassic Park is. Tell us what your favorite dinosaur is, something like that. We don't really care, just make sure that you're interacting. Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Well done, David.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm just saying well done.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Take the pat.